What does that even mean, Bowers Game Corner?
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another game review. And today I'm very excited to check out Bucket of Doom from Big Potato. This is 3+ players, ages 17+. Take about 30 minutes to play, and before we get started, I want to slap a not suitable for work label on this video because I am going to be saying inappropriate words and inappropriate things because that is the nature of the beast. This is an adult party game. This is a storytelling adult party game where you're going to be put in a weird situation and have to escape that situation with even weirder items. I love storytelling games. I love adult party games, so this should be a slam dunk, right? Let's open it up, and I'll tell you what I think. Alrighty then, we're going to take a look at what you're going to get inside of Bucket of Doom. And then first and foremost, we're going to handy dandy rule sheet. This is it. The back is just a list of the backers who backed it on Kickstarter, so it should have you up and running in no time at all. I also will say they have beginner rules, semi-pro rules, and pro rules. I personally like the semi-pro rules the best, but you can decide if you get the game which one you like the best. So in Bucket of Doom, you're going to get two kinds of cards. First, you're going to get these cards right here, which are going to list a problem that you have. You're the last person clinging to the Titanic as it breaks in half and sinks beneath the icy waves. You're driving a bus full of people when you get a text, drop below 60 miles an hour, and it blows. You quickly climb a tree to escape a starving bear. It's a brown bear, and they can climb trees. Grr. So anywho, you're going to flip over one of those problems for everyone to hear. So let's just see. You're in Salem during the witch trials, and you're being burned at the stake for having a wart on your nose. So now you're going to have 8 cards in your hand. Now these are double-sided cards. And on these cards, there are going to be various different things that you can use. Wilson from Castaway, Travis Barker's Drumsticks, Barbie and Ken dolls, 100 pounds of horse shit, blue whale scrotum, snake charmer's flute, so on and so forth. But what you're going to do is you're going to tell us in a story form how this is going to help you in this particular situation. So everyone is going to do that. So let's just say, I will, as I'm burning, bust out my snake charmer's flute and blow my snake, and the snakes will come rescue me and also murder everyone else. So that would be mine. Let's just grab some and see what happens. There's a depressed circus tiger who also happens to be raging through the town at this moment, and he somehow knocks me off there, and I escape. I have a gallon of Clorox bleach let's see what the backside is. Ooh, that's even worse. Well, I have a gallon of Clorox bleach, and I will just bleach the wart off my nose super duper quick, and then problem solved. I have a can of SpaghettiOs, and I will try to bribe the person that is, the primary person trying to burn me, say, hey, can of SpaghettiOs, if you just shut your face and don't burn me alive. But anywho, what you're going to do is everyone's going to vote for their favorite story, and then the person with the highest number of votes is going to win. Now, tiebreakers go to the person who read off the question, and that's the beginning version of the game. That person will be awarded the card, and then you will restock your card. You're trying to get to 3 of these cards right here, aka victory points. So you then draw back up to 8 cards in your hand. Now, why are the cards double-sided? Mostly just because at the beginning of the game, you're either going to decide if you're playing with black cards or if you're going to be playing with the white sides, because that'll actually give the game some legs. Now, there's the beginner rule of the game, which is what we just talked about, except that you'll actually be able to flip your cards over and use what's on the back as well. Also, there is the Macgyver Rule, where you're going to be able to use as many cards from your hand as you want. And then there's the Professional Rule, where you can use as many cards as you want from your hand. You're going to get 10 cards, but you don't draw back up. You don't restock your hand until you've used all 10 of your cards. But anywho, you're going to continue making, hopefully, humorous stories in the hopes of collecting these cards right here. The first person to get 3 will be the winner of Bucket of Doom. And that, in a nutshell, is how the game is played. Alrighty then, Bucket of Doom from Big Potato. What are my final thoughts? Let's go over the pros, let's go over the cons. Before we get started, I'm going to mention this is a very odd review for one big reason, which I'll tell you about in a second. But whenever I play a game that's very similar to another game and I review that game, I feel like I have to mention that other game in the review to tell you what I like about this game better and what I like about the other game better, and hopefully help you come to a conclusion on which one you might want to get. I feel like that's a good service I should do as a reviewer. An example would be actually another game from Big Potato called Scrawl, which was very, very similar to Pictionary After Dark. And so I mentioned both the pros and cons of both in that review. Likewise, Bucket of Doom is very similar to another adult storytelling party game called Help Wanted. Now, where it gets weird is the fact that I created Help Wanted. It's my game. It came out of my brain. I kickstarted it. It's a real thing out in the wild. So I'm going to try and do it as unbiased as possible. And I want you to know, first and foremost, that this is not available. I'm not trying to sway you to go buy this game, because you can't buy the game, unfortunately, because we're completely sold out of it. We don't have another print run planned for at least another 6-7 months or something like that. But let's get to the pros and cons. So first, on the con side, it's an adults-only party game. There's going to be inappropriate things on the card, and the situations you're put into are going to lead you to say even more inappropriate things. And that's kind of the point of the game, obviously, but that's not going to be a turn-on for some people. Also, the bucket. Some people are going to like the bucket. I'm personally not a fan of the bucket. Gaming shelves are just not generally made to accommodate buckets. I understand it's got an aesthetic appeal. Haha, it's a pink bucket and it's cool to look at. But I personally would have rather had a box for this game. Now, component-wise, I am not a fan of these cards. These cards are very flimsy, and they just don't feel like they're going to last that long for repeated plays. You're probably going to want to sleeve them. Also, they're pointed edge cards, which I hate pointed edge cards, and there's no artwork on the cards. And I know that's become acceptable because it's on Cards Against Humanity, it's on the voting game, and it's on this adult party game, and that adult party game, and this adult party game. And that's not okay. Just because it's everyone else is doing it, I feel like you still should have artwork in your game. Now, I understand why they don't have artwork in their game, because, well, quite frankly, it's laziness. I mean, that's the biggest reason why. Because you could. You could put artwork on each and every one of these cards, but it would take you a good deal of time to do that, and they just choose not to do that, and that's always been a pet peeve of mine with games like this. Any other cons I have with the game? Yeah, there's one last con, and that is how the scoring works, how everyone just votes on which story they like the best, which means that you're expecting everyone to actually vote honestly, and you could have some people who are like, I'm going to vote for myself every time because I want to win. And it's not a big deal because most of the time people don't care about the score of the game. It's just about having fun and laughing, but it is something that I did want to mention. Now, let's compare and contrast Help Wanted. So Help Wanted is another adult party game in which you're going to be put into a very odd, humorous situation, and you're going to have odd, offensive, humorous cards to get yourself out of those situations, and you can use cards out of your hands to weave together a small story about how you're going to get the judge out of that situation or make the judge's situation better, so on and so forth. Now, in Bucket of Doom, if you're playing the beginner's version of the game, which I don't really recommend doing, I personally like the advanced version, or the semi-pro version of the game better, you're only going to be using one card at a time in Bucket of Doom, but the game gets better, and you can really open up your creativity when you use more cards, which is how Help Wanted works. Now, comparing and contrasting, there's more cards in Help Wanted. The card quality is much higher in Help Wanted. Each and every card in Help Wanted has its own unique artwork, which it adds to the humor of the game, and it sounds bad, but Help Wanted is clearly a superior game. It has more cards, it has artwork, it has better cards, and it pushes the boundary more. This game is offensive, but Help Wanted is much, much more offensive, and I feel like if you're going down this offensive road, then why stop halfway instead of going the whole way? So, if you, in some weird vacuum, have the option to purchase Help Wanted or Bucket of Doom, I obviously think Help Wanted is a superior game. Now let's get that out of the way. Let's go over to the pros, because moving on to the pros, in most scenarios, you're not going to be able to purchase Help Wanted, unfortunately. Bucket of Doom is still a humorous, fun adult party game that I have a feeling if you like this sort of game, you're going to have a lot of fun with. The situations are very humorous. The stories that you can come up with are really good, especially when you start playing with the Macgyver rules, where you're going to be able to string together different cards. You have 8 cards in your hands, which I like, and if you're playing with the flip rule, you'll essentially have 16 cards in your hand that you can go between, and you're going to be able to make very humorous, fun stories. And I love storytelling games. Obviously, I created a storytelling game, so I love storytelling games, and I do enjoy this game. Now, do I think I'm going to keep this game? No, because I have Help Wanted, and Help Wanted is better, and this one has lame cards, or not lame cards, but flimsy cards, and there's no artwork. But that being said, if you like Cards Against Humanity, but you want to do some storytelling, this is a fun one to check out. If you have an adult sense of humor and you can handle hearing inoffensive things, this is a fun game to check out. It's just not as good as other games in the market. If you enjoyed this review, please be sure to click on the subscribe button down below in the comments below. Let me know, should I have reviewed this game? Now, this is an interesting question for me. I have never reviewed Help Wanted. I've talked about it before, and I feel like I could review Help Wanted because I know there's problems with the game. But should I still have reviewed Bucket of Doom? Or should I have reviewed Bucket of Doom but not mention Help Wanted? But I feel like that would be a disservice to the viewer because they are very similar. I don't know. This is a really weird gray area. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.